Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another book recommendation video, and this time I'm talking about single parent romances. This is one of my favorite tropes. Just there's something about maternal and paternal figures coming into a child's life that just gets me in my feels. So without further ado, let's hop into the video. The first book I have to recommend is Garnet Flats by Daphne Perry. This is the third book in the Eden series, and I love this book. I know that this isn't going to be for everyone because it's super angsty, so if you don't really like a lot of angst in your books, this one won't be for you, but I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. So this one follows Talia and Foster, who fell in love 7 years ago in Las Vegas, and right before Talia moved to Seattle to start her med school, Foster breaks her heart by telling her that he's going to be marrying her best friend. So obviously there's a lot of drama there. Talia is heartbroken, but she finishes med school and moves back to her hometown. And 7 years later, Foster shows up on her doorstep begging for a second chance. Talia is obviously very mad when she first sees him, but they have such insane chemistry and they are just soulmates that he just works so hard to get her back. Also, she finds out that Foster has a kid with her best friend who he's married to for 7 years. So there is lots of angst and drama in this book, which I personally just absolutely adored. And I think this was my favorite book in the Eden series for sure. The next book I have to recommend is not going to be a surprise to anyone because I feel like I talk about this book all the time, and it is Heartless by Elsie Silver. I love this book so much. So this follows Willa and Cade. Cade is a single dad for his son, and he is a rancher, so he has a lot of tasks that he needs to get done. So he needs a nanny to help take care of his son while he's working his long days. So in comes Willa, who is the best friend of the female main character from the first book, and he's sort of out of options, but he finds Willa to be thinks Willa is super carefree and just not the influence his son needs. So at first he really is hesitant to trust Willa, but she quickly wins him over, and he realizes how wrong he was about her, and he can see how much she cares about his son, which is the biggest factor for him. The banter in this book is so well done. Elsie Silver is so good at writing a grumpy cowboy, and Cade is definitely that, and Willa is the sunshine, and she just gets him to loosen up and stuff like that, and it's just so good. It's the tension and the banter in this book is so well done, and just seeing Willa interact with Luke, Cade's son, is just so heartwarming, and hearing it from Cade's perspective to see how much it means to him is so also just it's just so cute. I love it so much. The next book I have to recommend is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. This is just like all Mariana Zapata's books, very slow burn, but honestly this one is not her slowest burn, but it is filled with angst and tension because of the slow burn. And if you've read any of Mariana Zapata's books before, you know that it's gonna be good. So this one follows Aurora and Rhodes, who they meet because Aurora is sort of trying to find herself again. She's gone through a lot of really hard stuff recently in her life, and so she goes back to the place that she remembers being most happy, which is the place where she grew up with her mom. In order to do that, she decides to rent an Airbnb in the area, which happens to be above Rhodes' garage. And it turns out though that Rhodes' son books this place without him knowing, as a little form of cash flow while Rhodes is away for a couple of weeks. So when he finds out, he obviously doesn't kick Aurora out, but he is not super happy about the arrangement. It's very grumpy, very sunshine. There's a lot of really beautiful nature scenes in this book, which I personally really liked, and also just the relationship between Rhodes and his son is just so cute, and then seeing Aurora join that little family is also just so heartwarming. But obviously the tension and angst are there just like all Mariana Zapata's books, so I really love this one, and I think it's my favorite Mariana Zapata book that I've read so far because just the tension so good. The Grumpy Sunshine, so good. Single Parent, so good. The next book I have to recommend is Wild About You by Rebecca Genshak. This is the second book in her Wildcat Hockey series, and this one follows Tyler, who is like just joining the NHL, and he's like on the rise in popularity and in skill. And then his little sister shows up, his 17-year-old sister, which he ends up being sort of her guardian for. He ends up being her guardian while she's still in school. So it's not technically single parent, but it is sort of guardian single parent, even though he's her older brother and she's about to turn 18. She definitely needs some guidance in life. She's on a little bit of a destructive path because she's just trying to act out. When he is at school dropping her off, he runs into his ex, Piper, who is her teacher at the school. Piper and Tyler dated 4 years ago and broke up because of long distance, but Tyler always thought of her as the one that got away. So not only is this single parent, it's also a second chance from like high school sweethearts. But because Tyler is traveling a lot for hockey, he needs help watching his sister while he's away. So he asks Piper if she'll help. So they end up spending a lot more time together in hopes of helping his sister. So it is so well done. I didn't really care for the first book in this series, but I really liked this one. The second chance aspect to it was really, really cute and I loved it. And the third book in the series is even better, so I highly recommend this whole series, but this one in particular is really great. Even though it's not technically single parent, I feel like it still follows the same themes as a single parent book, and I loved it. Okay, and last but not least is another one that I love so much, and it's Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is the first book in her Knock 'Em Out series. This one follows Naomi and Knox. Naomi is in town because her twin sister reaches out and is asking for help. So when she gets there, she finds out that her sister left town and abandoned her niece. So Naomi is taking over and looking after her niece, so again, this one isn't technically single parent, but it is like guardianship. And she also meets Knox while she's there, and they immediately start butting heads. He's constantly telling her to get out of town, but she's there to stay because she's going to take care of her niece, because her sister has been like the bad child their entire life. So she's been used to like taking care of things when her sister falls short. Yeah, this one is really cute. I think this is a really good level of rom-com as well, because it's got a lot of comedic aspects, but it doesn't take away from the romance and doesn't make it seem like it's just like a comedy the whole time, rather than it really does focus on the romance as well, which I really like about this one. And in addition, there is a whole romantic suspense plot line in this, which is why it's so long. It is a really big book for a romance, but the romantic suspense kind of like plotline will also keep you so engaged as they get to know each other for the romance as well. So I love it. I still need to read the rest of the books in the series, but I'm hoping I love them just as much as I loved this one. Okay, and those are all of the books I have to talk to you today about for the single parent. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to get more books on my TBR for single parent. Subscribe if you're not already and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps support my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.